Hello everyone, welcome back to Fozen's tutorial. This is the part 2 of labor welfare. We will focus on types of labor welfare. Like what is objective in short? Objectives is to improve the condition of the worker and thereby improve the productivity of an enterprise. Alright. So types of labor welfare. In the earlier chapter, you have learned about evolution of labor welfare, how it started, what are the small concepts, like 4 concepts which I have given, and also what are the important committees formed before and after independence. Alright. So type of labor welfare. Well, labor welfare can be divided as intramural and extramural. Now, what is intramural? Intramural are all those facilities or labor welfare facilities which are available inside the organization. That means you have to provide that inside the organization. And extramural are outside. So they are just opposite to each other. Again, another we can divide it in terms of, like, let's say statutory and non-statutory. Statutory means enforceable by law, enforceable by law, and this is not enforceable. That is, if employee feels it is voluntary, we can say. Now, so intramural we already discussed, like it is inside the organization. So intramurals, what are the facilities which are inside the organization? Let's say examples are canteen. Canteen will be provided inside your organization. Yes or no? It won't be provided something 2.5 kilometers away from your organization. Then what is the point of giving as employee welfare? Yes or no? Restroom. There should be some rooms where your workers can rest. Crutches. It is very important. For example, there might be women employees with a child who is below 5 years, or let's say a young child, so they should be given what? Crutches. Yes or no? Uniform should be provided. Drinking water. This is drinking water, not water. I have missed out. So drinking water. Let's say your employee is thirsty. You should provide him. Yes or no? Water should be provided within the organization. So what is extramural? Which is outside. It should be provided. For example, housing. Housing facilities. You cannot give someone to stay with the family, or let's say you will build home inside your organization. It will be very disturbing. It won't be uniform at all. Now then, education should be somewhere away also, though it may be within the boundary of your, like, area, but it should be away from your at least organization. So child welfare facilities, leave travel facilities, so all those comes outside the, I mean, that means extramural. Now, see, we have already given in the diagram labor welfare measures. They are statutory, voluntary, extramural, intramural. So example facilities are already given, which we have already discussed. Now statutory, enforceable by law. That means you have to do. If you do not follow those, you will be punishable. Punishable. It might be imprisonment, it might be fines. Voluntary, employer takes on his own, and this is outside, this is inside. Can you read through this? The statutory schemes are those schemes that are compulsory to provide by an organization as compliance to the laws governing employees' health and safety. And non-statutory is just the opposite. Non-statutory, it may be like a health checkup, flexi time, transportation facilities. So it is not compulsory, but if employer feels they should provide them, then he should. So that is voluntary. Now, what is statutory example? Let us discuss with respect to what? With respect to, let's say, factory check drinking, like cold drinking water facilities. You should provide cold drinking water facility if there are more than 250 plus employees. Yes or no? Safety officers should be provided if there are more than 1000 employees. Oh, sorry, yeah, 1000 employees. And welfare officers should be provided if there are more than 500 employees. Can you confirm this? These two. And maternity benefits should be provided, that is 26 weeks. So all those things. All right, so let's go to the next. Theory and approach to labor welfare. What are the different theories? So we'll discuss in very short, without wasting much time, because I have already explained all this in the MCQs given in set 3 also. There is policy theory. This theory believes that it is very much necessary for the organization to have some policy. Why? Because this theory assumes that men are very selfish and they try to only think for himself. For example, organization is such that he'll try to only create profit for himself. He will not bother what the employee is going or what the worker is going through. He will try to exploit as much as he can in order to, like, gain from them. So it is necessary that there should be some minimum standard that employers should follow. Otherwise, they won't be like providing employee facilities. So this policy theory believes that it is necessary to have some statutory requirements in order to make them follow. Now next, religious. In religious theory. In religious theory, there are two things. They believe that men are religious animal. Yes or no? We all know. We believe in so much of beliefs and sentiments. Oh no no no! Today is not good to eat. Today we cannot cross this that. Yes or no? There are two important points here: investment and atonement. And what does investment says? Investment believes that suppose if you do good today, you will get return, good return in future. That is, if you provide employees with good facilities and good like welfare facilities, you will be getting as a reward in your coming time in future. So it believes in investment. Like if you invest today, tomorrow you will reap the fruit. And atonement, it believes that like you see today disabled person or let's say a deprived person, so it is nothing but they believe that these are because they have committed in their earlier time the sins they have committed, so god is punishing them. So atonement means that. So in order to what to say clear out their sins, they believe that they should like provide welfare facilities to employees. Now philanthropic. Philanthropic is nothing but love for mankind. So remember this love for mankind in philanthropic. All right. Now trusteeship theory. This is also called a paternalistic theory because this theory believes that employers are the owner of all these organization. So all the rights, all the assets, it's under them. The profit also will come under them. So it is their duty to share the profits with their employees. That is to pay them salary, let's say, or provide basic necessary amenities, welfare facilities to the employees. Yes or no? Now, placating theory. In placating theory is somewhat opposite to policy theory. In placating theory, employees are no longer full. They are very much aware of the welfare facilities. They keep on demanding. They say that I need today this. I need to have this type of what drinking facilities. They keep on demanding. So what does employer do? So employers now they try to satisfy them by fulfilling their demands. So before they feel that suppose there is agitation or there is demands or there is strike, so employers they try to satisfy them by giving various welfare facilities, fulfilling various demands. So placating theory believes that. Now public relation theory believes that it talks about goodwill of an employee. So when you do like good things or give good welfare facilities, it creates good image to your company. Let's say company A and company B. Company B provides lots of welfare facilities, and here they provide only minimum. So what happens in a society or a country or a place anywhere, company B will earn lots of reputation. Why? Because because they have done so much for the employees. So employees also will be talking, yes or no, they will have pride in working, and all the society people or the place people will also want to work with company B, and they will be speaking about company B, they provide so much good facilities, they care for their employees, treat them their own. So example can be like Google cares so much for their employee. So this is few. Now functional theory, it is known as efficiency theory. Here employee welfare is given, like they believe ki when we give them all these employee welfare facilities, it will satisfy the employee, and thus it will increase their efficiency and productivity. That's it. I hope all of you have understood. And this is very important. Again, this will come in terms of MCQ sometime it may be given like policy standard definition may be policy theory definition may be given, and you have to select which one among all. So next. Now, principles of labor welfare. Now, what are the principles? There are a few principles we'll discuss in brief, in very short. So, principle one, it says that adequacy of wages. It believes that principle of adequacy of wages says that labor welfare cannot be the substitute of wages. You cannot say to an employee that you are being provided wages, so this is also labor welfare. You cannot say that. It is not a substitute for wages. This should be beyond wages. We already saw this in the definition itself. Now, principle of social responsibility. Principle of social responsibility you can see here. So, social responsibility means what? It is the obligation of the industry to pursue those policies. See, principle of democratic value or association. The assumption to this approach is that the worker is a mature and rational. Now you should consider worker also in decision making. You should this my handwriting is very bad, so sorry. In decision making also, or let's say in producing anything, or let's say with in terms of management also, workers also should be taken into account. Now, principle of efficiency. This theory believes that to cultivate efficiency, worker education training, all those like earlier, which we have read in concept. Now, principle of repersonalization. The development of human personality is given as the goal of industry. You will have some development programs. Let's say when you are given lots of facilities, well, then there is a development on human personality also. Yes or no? Now, principle of totality of welfare. Concept of this welfare is what? It must be like given throughout the hierarchy of the organization and accepted by all levels and functionality. Like let's say there is a hierarchy of this organization. This labor welfare should exist throughout this organization and it should be accepted by all. It's not that one boss follows and another one doesn't follow. Yes or no? It should exist at all levels. Now, principle of coordination and integration. Here, it believes that welfare is a total concept and a coordinated approach. Yes or no? Integration should be there. Now again, principle of co-responsibility. Now co-responsibility, before social responsibility only industry or employer is responsible. When you say co-responsibility, co-worker and employers, they have to be both are responsible, both have to work towards the betterment of the welfare. Now, principle of accountability. When we say principle of accountability, welfare facilities should be evaluated. Like from time to time, accountability. One person or another, you should give the higher authority should like reports what is going on. Have to measure, have to check whether the employee results are followed or not. So when you say evaluation, what comes in? It should be accountability. Principle of timeliness. In timeliness, what it says, it should provide help and service with respect to time. For example, now a woman needs, let's say, maternity benefit in this period, he should be given in this period, not like after a baby is born, right? It should be like with respect to time, and like it should be timeliness, it should be given help with respect to need. So these are the few which is very important, we should keep in mind. So going back, this is a few MCQs which I have like collected, so let's discuss. So number one, MCQs. The employees welfare facilities available inside. So we have no inside, which we have already discussed, and if you have followed me throughout this lecture, you know directly this is inside and this is outside. So the correct answer is number A. Who among the following has the responsibility for employee welfare? Who is responsible? Employers or employees? Yes. Central government? Yes, because you see labor laws, statutory welfare, labor laws are being given by central laws, so they take a lots of measure. State government also produce lots of labor law. So as a whole, everybody is responsible. Though I have one mentioned in the previous one. Now, welfare measure cannot be a substitute for wages. Who said this? In which theory? It believes in adequacy of wages. It says that welfare cannot be a substitute of wages. So this theory says number A is number C. Industry have an obligation towards employee to look after their welfare. So industry have what? Social responsibility. So number D. There exists relationship between welfare and efficiency. Of course, even already efficiency is and the next is remaining is B. Human personality is repersonalization. When you say personalization, personality. So I hope you have understood. And once again, if you have understood, kindly like my video and share with the near and dear ones. And if you have any doubts regarding the employee welfare facilities or labor welfare, kindly like write down in the comment section below. Thank you so much and all the best for your exam.